Hello, and welcome to The Libationist, the channel where we cover everything cocktails to homebrewing and beyond. So, today we're going over the 3 levels of margarita, going from level 1, which details how to make a margarita from scratch, from the minimum resources you have at hand, level 2, where you do the traditional way to make the cocktail, and level 3, which goes a level beyond, showing you how to elevate your drink into something real special. So, without further ado, we're going to start off this episode with level 1.
All right, level 1. All right, level 1. Margarita. Level 1, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our little 2-ounce shot glass here, and we're gonna measure out 1 ounce of sugar. We're gonna put that in there. We're gonna put 1 ounce of lime juice. Got some bottled lime. You know, we got time for that fresh squeeze. This is level 1. We're doing teaching you how to do the basics. And then we're gonna add some orange bitters. Now, I did debate a little bit. You know, this is level 1. Are bitters too high of a level for level 1? And I decided that, you know, orange and lime is kind of the key fundamental part of what makes margarita. It's lime plus orange plus tequila. And those 2 citruses mixing together, fundamental identity of it. But I ran the numbers, and that's the thing. If you just add a little bit of bitters and sugar, it's the same flavors coming in, but it's gonna be about like a quarter of the price. So I think it still matches my goal for what I want for level 1. So we're gonna add about 3 dashes of orange bitters. And we're gonna add 2 ounces of Jose Cuervo. It's a good, you know, I'd say it's probably a bottom shelf tequila, but, you know, for our purposes, I think it's acceptable. It's nothing, nothing too gut-rotty. And then we're gonna add some ice. Well, actually, first we're gonna do, as we always do, level 1, we're going to dry shake this. And this is just to dissolve the sugar. Because of the fact that we're not using simple syrup, and we're just using like raw sugar, you're gonna want to shake it up to try to dissolve it as much as possible. Then you're gonna add some ice to it. Just standard ice you can get from the fridge or bag ice at the store. Anything will do for this one. And you put it in there and then you shake. Good to me. Then we're gonna take a fork, or I use that as our strainer. We're gonna strain into a glass here. All right. And there we are. We got ourselves our level 1 marg. I mean, that's a better margarita than you find in most of those, you know, kitschy little Mexican restaurants where they pour you the big gallon of margarita. And, I mean, it's exactly what you want. It's lime plus orange. I feel like there's not really an alcohol that quite complements and is like kind of fundamentally tied to a single other ingredient as much as tequila is with citrus. There we go. Level 1 margarita. Let's see what level 2 can do. All right, level 2 margarita, let's do it. So, what we're gonna start off with is our orange liqueur, or a curacao, or triple sec, lots of names for it. So use a couple of varieties you can choose from. Cointreau, I think, is perhaps the more traditional one, but I think Grand Marnier is my preferred one to go for my margaritas. There's also some people, some bartenders, they prefer agave syrup instead of an orange liqueur, but the traditional margarita is prepared with an orange liqueur. We're gonna start with 1 ounce of our Grand Marnier. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Depending on the sort of orange liqueur you can get, it will probably affect the end color. Part of the reason why some people like to use Cointreau is the fact that, along with a clear tequila, it will make basically a bright green margarita, like you would typically expect it to. Whereas Grand Marnier has a bit of a darker color to it, and that will affect the end result. Now we're gonna add our lime juice. We're gonna go 1 ounce of that too, so equal parts. Curacao and lime, and fold it in half, and press again, and then fold it in half again into quarters. So there's gonna be that last little bit of juice stuck in there. We're gonna get that out. All right, so 1 ounce lime, and then 2 ounces, so it's a classic 1:1:2 ratio of tequila. If you're going to go with agave syrup for this one, I would recommend cutting the agave syrup to about half
if you want to do on the sweeter side, probably about a third of an ounce is probably what I'd recommend, because agave syrup is quite concentrated. So you definitely want to err on the light side. All right, now you want a very full thing of ice in your shaker tin, because you know, you've got a big glass to fill, so you're going to want to dilute it quite a bit. And right, one thing that we are missing is going to salt part of this rim here. Now, you know, some people like salt, some people don't. I personally kind of like to mix it up a little bit. So what I'll typically do is I'll take my spent one and I'm going to run it on the outside of half of your glass, and then there you go. So you have a salted half and an unsalted half. So that way, you know, if you don't want salt in your drink, that's fine. Just drink from the other side. Now, we're ready. Pour that in. Shake. All right, and we're gonna pop that. Nice full shaker tin there. And we're gonna strain that. All right, and there we go. Our level 2 margarita. Now we're gonna give this a try. So, try the unsalted side first. The margaritas are very refreshing drinks. A little bit of the salt side. It is funny just how much like salt and tequila go together. I imagine like that really complementing any other cocktail to that same degree. I can't imagine whiskey or gin tasting that good with salt. It's also kind of interesting how often overlooked the flavor combo of orange and lime is. Because lemon lime is like the quintessential citrus pairing. Lime by itself is quite an intense citrus, but the orange is much more mellow citrus by comparison, and it kind of really levels itself out there. There you go, level 2 margarita. All right, so third level margarita, what do we want to do here? So I've played around with a few ideas, but the one that I think most strikes me is incorporating some ideas of other sours, because you know that's what a margarita is. A margarita is a form of tequila sour, akin to a gimlet or a daiquiri. It's a tequila-based cousin of those. And something that I really like about some sours, like when I think about them, think about like white ladies or whiskey sours, is the use of foam as an aspect of it. But I also thought, there's a reason you don't see margarita with an egg white foam on top. Because I tried that idea and it just doesn't work. It's too heavy, it's just too much. It's too thick. It just ruins the drink. However, I then had the idea, but I do want the idea of like infusing this airy flavor on top of the base margarita. Especially if we're making, sort of a classic non-frozen style, because, a frozen margarita probably wouldn't benefit from that. But I think texture-wise, a margarita which utilizes this sort of light, airy foam and has the texture of, say, like a daiquiri or a gimlet, I think it would benefit from that. But in order to do that, we're going to make it with something called lecithin, which is a form of plant protein, I believe. Anyways, when blended up with water and agitated enough, it produces this very light, bubbly foam, kind of similar to soap bubbles. But you can infuse any flavor you want into it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be infusing the flavors of those Mexican candies, if you know them, the dried mango with the hints of chili and salt and sugar on them. And I was considering infusing that flavor into the margarita itself, but I like the idea of that kind of just being like this light note on the top of it, and having the base margarita be made of a nice aged tequila, sort of, kind of give it a little bit more of that whiskey sour vibe, because it's a very whiskey sour-ish riff on a margarita. It uses aged liquor and a foam on top, but of course with its own classic margarita spin on it. So we're using aged liquor, and to give sour itself a little bit of interesting flavor, we're going to be using a bit of prickly pear puree. One of the things that we're going to prepare beforehand is we're going to start with our garnishes. The first part is going to be some tequila-infused aloe vera. Is one of the key ingredients. Now, the process of aloe vera, what we want to do is we want to start by cutting along the base and allowing the aloe latex to leak out into this bowl of water here first. Okay.
and so once the latex is out, you can kind of tell because the water can be slightly goldenish, slightly yellowish. Probably good. You can slice up as much as you want to, but what we're going to do is we're going to just slice off this bit here and slice off this bit here for garnishing. Set that aside. And what you want to do is going to cut off the edges, get the spines away. And then you're going to want to cut off around the blade along the inside skin. Trying to keep as much of that gel in there as possible. Very nice. And then we're going to cut this into as close to 1 inch as you can really get size cubes. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our aged tequila. We're going to add 1.5 ounces, a little container here. Then we're going to take some agave syrup and drizzle that in there. Then we're going to add our aloe vera cubes. Alright, and then we're going to let these infuse for a few hours in preparation of the rest of our cocktail. Now we're going to prepare our foam, and for that you're going to need a blender, and you're going to add 4 ounces of water and then about 1/8 of an ounce or about a bar spoon of the lecithin. And to infuse the desired flavors, what we're going to add next, a dash of mango puree, a pinch of salt. So instead of having a salted rim, the idea is basically have like salted bubbles above the cocktail itself. And then we're going to add a few dashes of habanero bitters. Now these ones are quite strong, so I'm only going to go 2 dashes there. Add a little hint of heat. Any more than that would probably overwhelm the drink. All right, and we're going to blend this up and cause this to form some very nice, pretty bubbles. All right, now it's finally time to put our cocktail together. So, we're going to start, as I usually do, most sticky to least sticky, to kind of clear out the jitter with each successive pour. So we're going to start off with about a 1/2 ounce of prickly pear syrup. It's a bit sweeter than any sort of triple sec or dry curacao, so we're going to be using less of it than we would in a standard margarita. All right, and then we're going to add 1 ounce of lime juice. All right, and then you add 1 ounce of lime juice. I'm going to add 2 ounces of our Casamigos Agave Añejo. All right, and then we're going to take our other half of the shaker. We're going to crack some ice into it. This guy's going to do as you usually do. Take a large cube here. I'm going to crack it in half. With the clearer side broken into smaller chunks, we try to break around the more opaque and pure center. So that way the more impurity centered part of the ice will be used primarily for agitation, while the purer part of the ice, the clearer stuff, will be used for dilution. There we go. All right, and then we're going to shake. But we have to prepare one more garnish before we go. What we're going to do is a piece of the mango candy, which inspired the foam top. So there we go. And we're going to cover one side of this mango with a bit of chili lime seasoning. And now we're ready to serve. All right, so we're going to take this. The lovely pinkish margarita. Absolutely gorgeous. Our little coupe glass. And then we're going to take our skewer and we're going to take the infused aloe vera. I'm gonna try to skewer a piece here. I'm gonna try to skewer that onto our mango and skewer it through our aloe vera tip. Hold it all together, all in one piece. And you just top this up with the tip-top foam. I'll scoop a little bit off the top, gently place it. All right, now let's give our third level margarita a try. Definitely like the foam, and you can taste it. It's very subtle though. It's not like the egg white foam. Actually, my last video was a whiskey sour, and the utilization of that foam, especially with a lot of my whiskey sours, even on my level 2s, right? I like to incorporate certain flavors into the foam itself, and it's not as obstructive as that. It's a margarita like this that's not frozen. They'll naturally have like a kind of foamy top anyways, as most shaken drinks do. This kind of accentuates that. Speaking of which, it is a kind of whiskey sourish. It definitely has that aged liquor taste to it. Funny enough, maybe I'm just not picking up as much, but definitely it tastes like the mango and the habanero is like a very subtle note. I can't quite pick out the prickly pear, which is funny because really, as far as the drink goes, it's just this one of the only 3 flavors in there. It's just lime, tequila, and cactus pear. Maybe that's what it is. You can imagine a fruit being like a slightly savoriness. That's how I describe the cactus pear. All right, so let's try this with the garnishes here. Take a bite of this mango. I think margarita is definitely one of those cocktails that benefits from fresh fruit. Good, especially with the chili lime because it has some salt in it. And so it kind of gives that salted rim taste just from the garnish itself. In addition to the already slightly salty note of the mango habanero foam on it. Wow, that is excellent. Level 3 margarita.
All right, and that's our video. From level 1 to level 3. Those are the different ways to make a margarita. So, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, because there is more coming. I know that it took me a little while to get this one out the door. Life just kind of got in the way a little bit, but more's coming, I promise. I do actually genuinely enjoy what I do here. So, like, subscribe, share if you think anyone would like this video. Give me some ideas. Always happy to see that go around. And yeah, have a good one.